Welcome back, tribe, to another Galaxy of Heroes video. As you know, we are in the middle of our battle for Naboo Raid week, where I'm going over all the teams that I used to get max score in the brand new raid. Today we want to talk about how to best split your Jedi faction to try and max out those scores. Let's roll it. Alrighty then, so we're going over two teams at the moment to try and max out those raid scores in Battle for Naboo. Jedi are a little bit of a funny position where there's a really terrible tier Jedi leader that we can use that just happens to be really amazing in this new raid. I'm sure that's just a coincidence, wasn't deliberately planned to be that way or anything like that. But that is Luminara Lead over here. She is actually really easy to get that max score in. And the great thing about this is if you bought that recent Lightspeed bundle pack that gave a bunch of, Galactic Republic Jedi, we had Luminara and Kit and Plo, and who else did we have? Somebody else, I can't remember. Qui-Gon Jinn. You can actually get a really good working team. So I'm going to go over the Lumi team first and foremost. Luminara Lead with Kit Fisto. Those two are joined to the hip just by the way of the modifiers that go on in this new raid. We'll touch on that in a moment. Qui-Gon Jinn because he's just kind of useless everywhere else. Plo Koon because you need to have some form of dispel. You can use Shakti instead, but I prefer Plo and having Shakti in my Beck team. And then I'm using Ayla Secura. Now, a lot of people tend to use Grandmaster Yoda within that Lumi team to try and keep those buffs rolling and keep the benefits going. You don't need them. You don't need them, at least not at the Relic 5 tier. Now, if people want to push this to Relic 7 or Relic 8, it'll absolutely work, but I don't really want to recommend to you guys to do that, and there's a reason why. It's because they're terrible Jedi outside of the actual raid, and I don't want you to waste resources for the sake of getting a couple of 1,000 points within this new raid. The second team then is a Kelleran Beck team. Now, this is harder to get off the ground and running, but of course, you do need to try and apply better characters to the team. So I'm using Shakti here with Grandmaster Yoda, Ki-Adi-Mundi, and Mace Windu. This team, in my opinion, is set in stone for the Kelleran Beck team. If you don't have Ki-Adi-Mundi, I think you're going to struggle with the damage output. I hate to say it, this is not particularly accessible. Kelleran Beck is brand new. Ki-Adi-Mundi is not very accessible to new players. I understand it's difficult, but if you do have the spare Jedi, this is the team. I wouldn't recommend splitting out Mace Windu. You need to be able to have him in there. He provides a lot of really useful extra survivability and damage output. So let's start off then. Luminara Lead first. Why does this team work? Well, in order to understand that, we need to take a look at the modifiers for the raid. So let's check that out. So, heading over to the raid modifiers, taking a look at Galactic Republic in particular. Jedi healers and support are going to gain 50% additional max health. Healers and tanks gain 100% defense and 50% max protection. So, Luminara is one of the rare Jedi healers and the only Jedi healer that actually has a leadership ability, which is great. It means she's going to gain a bunch of additional stats. At the start of their turn, Galactic Republic allies are also gaining 10% defense penetration for each buff on them for one turn. This effect does not stack with other sources of defense pen. And if the leader is a healer, that's the pivotal part here. If the leader is a healer, the following benefits are active. Jedi allies recover health. They also recover protection whenever Jedis are critically hit. They gain crit hit immunity and 100 speed for one turn, and they reduce their cooldowns. Now, the enemy is basically critting all the time, so this is really useful. Whenever a Jedi has heal over time, they've got 50% extra defense, and while a Jedi has both heal over time and potency up, they've got 40% counter chance and deal bonus true damage to all enemies whenever they use an ability. This also counts for counterattacks. Okay, counterattacks counts as a basic ability essentially, and that lets them do additional true damage. This is why you need to have Kit Fisto in the team. He is the only person in this entire roster that is able to provide potency up to the team. And finally, whenever a Jedi healer uses a special ability, they dispel all buffs on the target enemy. This is useful for getting around Droideca's damage immunity. So back to it, why is this important? This is not the mod set that I run with, by the way. So, first and foremost, Elegant Steps. This is the leadership from Luminara. All Jedi ally are gaining 15% evasion and recover health equal to 8% of her max health at the start of each of their turns. Non-Jedi receive half of this effect. That doesn't really matter because we're using a full team of Jedi. Whenever an ally gains a buff that they do not have, they also gain heal over time. So whenever we're gaining any sort of buff, they'll also gain heal over time thanks to her leadership. Very, very useful. Not only that, her special over here, Master's Healing Blessing, not with the Omicron, that doesn't matter, essentially means it's a heal, but more importantly, it provides those stacks of her heal over time. You need that, and yes, you do also need to be having the Zeta on her leadership. That Zeta is pivotal, guys. You need to have that to make it run. Kit Fisto then, we're really looking for this Turn the Tide special ability over here. He does an AoE physical attack and it provides potency up to all allies for 3 turns. It's a long benefit, okay? Now most of the time the enemy command droid will dispel that buff, but while you have it up, we've got that extra counter chance and we do true damage as well, and that true damage is really, really good. Kit has also got a base bonus to counter chance and to offense. All right, so very, very useful. Qui-Gon Jinn does have some useful abilities. His first special over here will call a random ally to assist. When you've got that potency up as well as the heal over times, that's additional true damage, which is great. Also, his second special does dispel buffs. Again, very, very useful if the droideka has got damage immunity. It gives you that extra flexibility, and it also provides offense up for 3 turns if you do dispel a buff. Fantastic. Plo Koon over here, his basic will dispel buffs whenever he uses it. So again, really useful for getting around droideka's damage immunity, but also the enemy has often got things like offense up all the time, okay? And it does give defense up for 3 turns, which is going to trigger Luminara Lead's leadership and give you heal over times. Take Charge is also super, super useful, providing defense up for the whole team, but also a 50% turn meter boost. I wouldn't say that Force Judgment is particularly useful. I tend to only use basics or his second special. Aayla Secura is useful for a number of reasons. Firstly, superior riposte. She's got additional crit chance and 65% counter chance. So when she's got a heal over time and protection up, potency up, she is going to have over 100% counter chance, and she does additional damage when she counters. She can also stun enemies. Now, this is not particularly useful, but the fact that whenever she critically hits, she can also call an additional Jedi to assist is very useful, because when you've got those buffs rolling, that's multiple instances of true damage. Really helps you chew through the waves. So, taking a look at the modding that I use for this setup, it's very important to have as much offense as you possibly can. All that true damage that you're getting from the Galactic Republic modifier, all the additional, true damage from the attacks out of turn, having potency up and having a heal over time, comes and scales off your offense. So as much offense as you can put is great. So Qui-Gon Jinn over here, I've got him at 280 speed, 7,500 offense. This is at Relic 5. Obviously, the more relic levels you have, the more you can pump that offense. He is not naturally an attacking-based character, but it's very, very useful to have as much offense as you can. 280 speed. Luminara Lead, yes, she does give benefits and healing to your characters based on her max health, but honestly, this raid is not about healing up. This raid is about getting that damage done so you can clear waves with enough time left on your enrage meter. So again, I'm running an offense set, heal set, as many offense primaries as I possibly can. She's got 7,600 offense, about the same as Qui-Gon Jinn, and just under 300 speed. If you can max out your speed and your offense on this, huge. Plo Koon then. Plo I've modded it a little bit differently, just because he's useful in being able to pass additional turn meter to the team and also dispel on a basic. So I've gone for a speed set over here with a health set secondary. I'm looking at 295 speed and just under 6k offense here. More is obviously better. Aayla Secura, once again, we're going back to that offense set. Don't worry about anything else. Get it as fast as you can with as much offense. 275 speed, 8,200 offense here. And Kit Fisto. His is once again more important to focus on speed. The reason we want speed on Kit Fisto is he is the only source that we have of potency up. We need him taking as many turns as possible. At the same time, I still want to try and boost his offense, so I'm looking for offense primaries on the cross and offense primaries on the triangle. The reason I'm going offense primaries on triangles, guys, instead of having like crit damage, is we're unlikely to crit, one, and secondly, true damage cannot crit. So the higher your base offense, the better off you'll be. Don't run crit damage triangles here. It's not important for this team. So 315 speed and 7,337 physical offense for my Kit Fisto. Fantastic. So I think that covers the modding, the strategy, and why we're running this team. Let's take a look at the actual play-by-play. Okay, so going into wave 1, what are we looking to do? We should have enough TM on our team to immediately use the AoE from Kit Fisto and then start dealing damage to our opponents. We should be able to clear out the entire wave very, very quickly here, thanks to the potency up and the heal over time. Look at all that true damage that's getting dealt. Obviously, the command droid will most likely dispel, but that's not terribly bad. Saving that second special for Plo in order to pass TM to the team to try and get round to more turns with your Kit Fisto so that you can provide additional potency up is absolutely pivotal. In the next wave, we do want to be dealing with that Droideka as soon as possible, so let's try and get some damage on him. Do not forget that specials from the leader, or a basic from Plo, or a second special from Qui-Gon Jinn will dispel that damage immunity. So as soon as we get the opportunity, we need to try and get background to that potency up so that we can start doing all that true damage once again. Focus down the Droideka as soon as possible. This one I did not play particularly well. I needed to try and get that potency up so we can do all this additional damage. So I think I just start doing some attacks here. AoE is okay, but we probably should have just dispelled there. Heal up will give us additional sources of heal over time, which is increasing our defense penetration, and there's some really good damage there. Ayla called the additional assist. With all these buffs just means more damage. Okay, so going into that second wave, there is a couple of things that we need to talk about. Usually what happens when I go into this second wave is we take a look at the ability modifier of the command droid right in the middle here. You can see that here, triple chevrons. That triple chevrons means it's a bonus ability. Normally what I would do if I see that bonus ability is I will use the second special for fleet, which is disrupt communications, and that removes the actual command droid special abilities. They won't gain any bonus turns. None of that business will happen. Because this is the first wave though, I experimented here by using the first special ability when we're in space. That's going to give us massively overpowered as a buff. So this first one over here. That massively overpowered buff will let us deal massive damage every single time we use a first ability. You want to focus down the stat, get rid of him. Because we've got that potency up, we can clear through quite quickly. Unfortunately, the commando droid took a bonus ability or a bonus turn very early on. Thankfully, we are taking advantage here of all that massively overpowered benefits, so we're still one-tapping enemies, okay? So we get it down relatively quickly and we get to save that second special for when we are going on later on. Now I'm going to try and run the risk here, I think. I'm umming and ahhing. Okay, I don't run the risk, I just use a basic. I was seeing, is it worth me right now trying to get that potency up? I decided not to use it because I couldn't keep track of what are the cooldowns on the command droid. Does he have a dispel available to him? Unfortunately, you can't really check unless hits his turn and you've killed the enemies. This is something I hope that CG is going to address, because keeping track of those specials is vitally important. Alright, so this is slowing us down way too much, unfortunately, but we do still manage to use it. So there we go, he's used his second special. That's when I decide to use the AoE with Kit Fisto, sorry, so we get that potency up and start dealing that true damage again. It's most important that we try to keep that up as long as possible. So just damage when we can. Let's call the assist for an extra attack, extra instance of additional true damage, and then it's just down to the commando droid. You can see him over here. He's got one turn until he's got that special ability. We increased his cooldowns, thankfully, and we're through into the next wave. Over here, we want to focus on the droidekas. As soon as we have that special available, I'm going to use it for the true damage. Going to pass myself additional turn meter, just so we can try and get as many attacks in as possible. Increasing the cooldowns there on the enemy droideka, and I'm just going to do a basic over here. We finished out one of them. Counterattacks does the majority of the damage. Look at all that AoE damage. Absolutely brilliant. Clear out the field. Of course, the command droid over there does get rid of our potency up, but we've killed everybody else on the team, so it's all very good. So going into this next wave, what we want to do is check the command droid special ability once again. Does he have the triple chevron, which is the bonus turn? If so, you definitely want to be using that disrupt communication. It will stop and get rid of that special ability for him to gain bonus turns. If not, however, with the stats, it is also very useful to use the last special ability, which gives your entire team locked potency up and tenacity up, which means they can't get provoked on your team. For some reason in my run here, I decided to go ahead and disrupt communications instead. I don't know why. It's not what I would normally do, but it is what I did for this run. I did so many runs on this day, I couldn't even tell you. and we want to try and get rid of those command droids as soon as possible. So we're still, unfortunately, we do have Provoke right now. Provoke, that red counterattack, means we are going to be doing decreased damage when we're attacking out of turns. It is not ideal to have that as a debuff. So I'm using my AoE here, that gives us that potency up, which means yes, we are going to start doing true damage. The reason we are not killing this enemy team is because of that Provoke. So I played this, in my opinion, incorrectly. I should have used the last special instead of the first special, but it still works out in the end. We're still getting some decent true damage, just not as much as we would hope. We would already be through this wave if we didn't have that Provoke ability. So we managed to do some pretty decent damage across the board. The enemy can't actually heal up, thankfully, because, you know, they don't have any sort of leadership ability, any modifiers going on there. We're just going to blitz right through. I definitely played this wrong, guys. Use the tenacity up and potency up on the stab wave to make sure that they can't get that Provoke on you. And we're just waiting for us to clear through this. Of course, you do want to try and get round into the next wave with that potency up. As soon as we can get that, it just helps you clear that field so quickly. As you can see now, with none of that Provoke, we do so much damage. We just clear through instantly. All right, into the next wave. This is the double Droideka wave. We want to focus on the Droidekas as soon as possible, get that damage done. They've got a bonus turn modifier, which is kind of the worst modifier in the game. Fortunately, if the command droid doesn't take one of those bonus turns, it means we're just going to be counterattacking a lot and doing ridiculous damage. Look how quickly we shred through that. Absolutely phenomenal. So we're only at 80% going into the final wave. This is still, like I said, Relic 5 tier. I didn't want to finish off with the AoE there because I could see that he had the cooldown decrease, the dispel available to him. I didn't want to let him just dispel all that potency up that we had. So last wave, I think the last fleet wave over here, we're going to be using the second special. That is going to be giving us that locked tenacity up and potency up. Makes it very easy for us in this particular team to do boatloads of damage. So gaining the turn meter, gonna save that AoE because we don't need it yet. We've got locked potency up across the team, so we do really good damage. First special with Qui-Gon Jinn is going to call assist, additional AoE damage, and we're just going to keep on rolling over here. Just use the basic with Ayla whenever you can, because she can call assists. It's only a percentile chance to call assists, but it can happen. And by the way, you do want to try and get rid of those steps first. All right, good. So we should be able to have Kit's AoE available to give us that potency up going into the final wave. Only 95% on the enraged turn meter, and I played it very badly in the middle. So AoE there, we've got the potency up. Unfortunately, they do have the bonus turn modifier. It shouldn't matter in the final wave if you're not enraged, because they're not going to gain any benefits. The enrage meter will stop rolling, thankfully. And there's some great assists and attacks out of turn there. Look at that, absolutely shredding through that wave there. Really solid team. I feel like if I took this to Relic 7 or Relic 8, it would still do perfectly fine as it is. However, I don't want to overinvest in this particular team, guys. The only reason I don't want to overinvest in this team is because, unfortunately, most of the characters here are just not that good outside of the raid. Luminara, no. Kit Fisto, no. Ayla, she's okay, but no. Qui-Gon Jinn with the Omicron does have some use in GAC, but typically he's there to die so that he passes additional stats. Not terrible to take him further up in relic levels. Plo Koon, definitely useful as a pilot. Has some limited use in TB and stuff like that. Let's move on to the second team that we want to talk about, the Kelleran Beck split. So, Kelleran Beck, why does this team work and what do we need? Damage! Once again, this is all about that offense. Now, Kelleran Beck, he is able to provide what's known as Padawan's lessons as a buff to his allies, Galactic Republic Jedi, if he has got that leadership active. Essentially, this just means they're going to be doing additional damage. That Padawan lessons over here does provide them with 20 defense penetration and 5% additional offense per stack, so it's important to mod this guy for a lot of protection. Speed is also rather nice. This first special, calls a mass assist, is very useful when you need to kill one particular unit 100% of the time, so droidekas, staps, that sort of thing. Mass assist special here will definitely kill something. His first special is okay, but it also dispels debuffs on your allies, so it's useful if you've got Provoke on your team. We can get rid of that. Next up in the team is Shakti. She is pivotal to this team. If you don't have Shak Ti, your only real other option is someone like Plo Koon. The reason for that is the basic over here will always dispel buffs, gets rid of damage immunity, also passes offense up to the team, very useful. Her training exercises is super valuable because it helps keep people alive, but more importantly, you can call someone to assist, which is so useful when it comes to Kelleran Beck. She's also a support character, so she's going to be benefiting from Ki-Adi-Mundi. Sorry, Ki-Adi-Mundi's the call to assist, not Kelleran Beck. She'll also benefit from Ki-Adi-Mundi's Jedi Council unique ability. Grandmaster Yoda over here, he is phenomenal. Can deal boatloads of damage, can gain additional turns, can spread additional buffs, and gains a bunch of turn meter as well. Basic, if he attacks anybody with over 50% hit points, he's going to gain 40% turn meter and gain foresight. He can spread buffs as required, and he can remove turn meter and do massive damage with his unstoppable force. Great character for this. Ki-Adi-Mundi, massively important in this team, and I know it's not accessible to everybody. The reason he's so powerful is because he one-taps units, at least at Relic 5. At least on the Relic 5 tier, he will be one-tapping units, and he'll constantly reset his cooldowns. Now, he can go into his defensive stance, Makashi I think it is, which will cause him to counterattack a lot, which is useful, but he does lose quite a bit of offense there. He also has this Jedi Council unique. If all of his allies are Galactic Republic Jedi, they're going to gain speed, max health and offense, and also Galactic Republic Jedi that are either support or healer, Grandmaster Yoda, Shak Ti, both support characters in this instance. They are going to have offense equal to 10% of their max health. So you can mod people like Grandmaster Yoda for loads of max health, which is then going to transfer into raw damage. Say he's got 100,000 max health, gaining 10% of that means he's gaining 10,000 offense. Really useful. Mace Windu is great for this team, and the reason he's great is because he applies that Shatterpoint. Shatterpoint can help reduce stats on the enemy, can also help him dispel debuffs with his first dispel buffs, with his first special, which is really great, and potentially stun them and control them. This party's over here. Really good ability because he can turn meter swap with a Galactic Republic Jedi. Most of the time you're going to be doing this with Cam. Ki-Adi-Mundi gaining extra turns is so important because he deals so much damage. Modding then, let's take a look. So, Shak Ti, what have I gone for here? I've gone for as much speed as I possibly can with some additional health. Don't forget, Cam's unique ability, Jedi Council, is giving her additional offense based on her max health. So I've got 360 speed here and 102,000 health, and that is at Relic 7. So we want health primaries where we can, and of course speed where we can, as much health secondaries as we can afford. Really useful to have on her. Ki-Adi-Mundi, he is all about that damage, baby. He is not a healer, he is not a support, so you just want to ramp up his offense at every opportunity. So I've got him at 283 speed over here and 11,400 offense at Relic 7. Next up, we've got Mace Windu. I'm throwing offense on this guy just because he doesn't need to be survivable. He will survive the attacks quite handedly. Extra offense gives us extra opportunities to try and chew through the enemy team. So just under 270 speed and 7,600 offense. Kelleran Beck, we want lots and lots of protection on this guy and whatever speed and health you can also get on him. So mine's at 312 speed with just under, I'm so disappointed, just under 140,000 protection. If I'd have gained one more 1,000 protection, he would actually provide an additional stack of that Padawan's Lessons, which gives extra offense and extra defense penetration. So as much as you possibly can. Grandmaster Yoda. Now, I messed up the modding on this, but it still worked regardless, probably because it's at a lower relic tier level that I run it on. But I've gone for as fast as I possibly can, and I've used an offense set. Honestly, you should probably be running health sets, because this offense set is going to be providing, what, 30% offense, I think, maybe 15% additional offense, which is decent based on his base damage. He's gaining 5k offense here. But if I'd have just done max health instead, I could have gotten so much more. Go for full health sets, most likely with full health primaries, because he's going to convert that at a 10% ratio towards his offense regardless, thanks to Ki-Adi-Mundi's unique ability, Jedi Council. So go for fast health sets with health primaries if you can. So this run is a little bit different to the Lumi run because we're not looking for all that true damage. Instead, all we're looking for is to call Ki-Adi-Mundi to assist, and he basically defeats everybody all the time. I'm using the AoE from Yoda just to get some additional damage in. Mass assist, first special from Kelleran Beck will definitely kill any sort of unit. And then whenever you've got an ability with Mace, you want to swap turns with Ki-Adi-Mundi. So Ki-Adi-Mundi can use that third special, that poke. That's almost always going to kill people because it does so much damage because we've got a full team of Galactic Republic Jedi and because of the way we've set up the modding for the team. So I'm hiding Kelleran Beck here just to give him some additional stats, just a few additional buffs, which of course gives him additional defense penetration thanks to the faction modifier. Every time, do that poke with Cam, he's going to one-tap people. A second wave, you obviously want to go straight after that droidica. We've got a couple of sources that will help us get rid of buffs. Do not use the bonus turn from Grandmaster Yoda. You just want to do big damage attacks, okay? So over here, I'm just using the second special, and then we can poke one of the healthier droids to insta-kill with Cam. Really useful. First special from Mace, Dispels, so use that to get rid of damage immunity on droidica. Alternatively, you can use a basic from Shakti. Every time you get any sort of call to assist, Kelleran Beck is not the one, Ki-Adi-Mundi, the other Jedi that starts with K, that's Galactic Republic, is the one you want to be calling because it's just so much damage. Now you will notice from time to time that people like Grandmaster Yoda and sometimes even Mace gets a little bit on the peaky side as far as stats are concerned. They should be okay. If you can just keep the enemy destroyed, keep on working through these waves, it shouldn't be too bad. Again, we've got a shatter point here, we're calling Ki-Adi-Mundi to assist. He's always going to be able to get rid of those enemies. First wave, once again, normally what I would do is check what the modifier is on the boss. If the modifier is not the bonus turn, we don't tend to use the communication disruption. I'll probably use the first special so that we can get that massively overpowered buff, help us take out that stab as soon as possible. Boom, one tap there for 99,000 bonus true damage, and then we just want to cycle through, kill all these enemies as quickly as possible so that we can keep that in rage timer nice and low. You see we're doing really great work here. Every time you can, just use that E ability, that second special from Cam. That poke resets his cooldowns if he kills a unit, so there will be no cooldowns on Ki-Adi-Mundi throughout the entirety of this. All the time, just calling in Ki-Adi-Mundi to guarantee that kill. The second special from Kelleran Beck does more damage, but you can save it if you want. Again, a single poke from Ki-Adi-Mundi there. Focus on the droidicas here. Unfortunately, this is kind of a worst case scenario. You're going in against double droidicas and the enemy has got that bonus turn modifier. This isn't ideal, but you'll see that we do actually manage to get through. So I do a big hit over there to take out a droidica. This is why it's great to have so much offense on Grandmaster Yoda. Mass assist on the other droidica. Nice and smooth. And we just need to try and kill these waves as soon as possible. Always try to hit the person with Shatterpoint. If you do that, you are going to be recovering protection across the entire team thanks to the modifier at this stage. Very, very useful. I'm attacking the healthiest enemy with Ki-Adi-Mundi with his second special whenever you can, because he will, at this relic level at the very least, he will always insta-kill those units. Just straight away, so much damage if you've got it in the same modding setup as I have. Boom. The basic double taps as long as he's not in Makashi form. So I don't think I ever really swap stances for Ki-Adi-Mundi. I find he's got such good offense potential just with that base form, Ataru, that you don't ever need to swap. So I think I used the second special here to get a little bit of recovery going. Oh no, I just used the basics. Ignore me. Just trying to kill this command droid before he takes up too much of that enrage meter. So going through another wave again, and look at this, we get a bonus turn meter modifier. We do have the ship call in, so I'm going to use Disrupt Communications. It's the one with the little radio dish. Destroy the radio dish, no more bonus turns for the enemy. That's what we're looking for. I used the special over here. Do I use it on Cam? Always using it on Cam for some reason. Oh, unfortunately, they do get that provoke out on us, though. That's a little bit of a disappointment. We didn't have enough TM loaded. So definitely looking to get rid of these commando droids. Fortunately, we don't do as many out of a turn assists on this particular team, and we are actually able to cleanse that provoke. I remember now. Cleanse that provoke with Cam special, Kelleran Beck special. There's too many Jedi that start with K. Alrighty. So, when we get the opportunity with Mace, we're probably going to be focusing on the enemies that have got Shatterpoint for the protection recovery. Always look to swap turn meters with Ki-Adi-Mundi. Alrighty, so just chewing through this wave now. I'm not worried about the stat at the moment because it's already used its special. We kill it then because, you know, might as well ignore everything that I'm going to say. Mass assist on the healthiest droid ally there just to get rid of him completely. We could call in to assist, but it's kind of a wasted effort at this point. And a big hit from Cam to get rid of that command droid. Droidicas are the priority, so call in to assist with Cam. He should be able to one-tap those units. Lovely. Big hit from Grandmaster Yoda. Let's get that second special, and there goes Droidica. Now, Droidica can dodge those attacks. You have to hope that you don't get too unlucky. Just a case of clearing up here. Attacking the person with Shatterpoint when you have a turn with Mace. And the counterattacks are lovely here. Fortunately, they're at, what, 56% to enrage, and I think we've got 3 waves left, there or thereabouts. So, I guess we're just basicing here to get rid of units. Getting rid of units as soon as possible is important. This is why I always advocate for as much damage output on your team as possible when it comes to this raid. You need to be able to clear through the wave as quickly as possible. I do a big hit there with GMY, get another kill done. I think that will be more reliable when I'm going full health sets, truth be told. We've got the opportunity here to call in Ki-Adi-Mundi, and then Ki-Adi-Mundi is going to target the healthiest guy and just one-tap him. I absolutely love being able to do that with Cam. It is so, so useful. And we're just clearing up, attacking Shatterpoint enemy with Mace Windu. We nearly lose Hermit Yoda here, which is a little bit disappointing. But thankfully, we can survive. So I think I call in Hermit Yoda, actually, just to heal him up. Yeah, I called in Hermit Yoda here with Shakti just to heal him up. He still got the kill, double kill, and Cam finishes off the round there. Super. So, this is our last fleet ability, and the enemy modifier is not the bonus turn. So we've only got 1 special left, so use whatever you've got left. This should be the locked tenacity with the potency up, and I can't remember what the other thing is. I think it gives us additional damage. It's a unique buff to this raid. Either way, you don't have to worry so much about the stats passing provoke because you've got that locked tenacity up, so they're not going to be able to actually clear through. What do we do here? Get rid of 1 stat. And attacking the person. Counterattacks are very useful thanks to Shakti. She is imperative in this team, I feel. Now we just have to hope we don't lose a unit. I can't remember if I actually lose a unit over here, but we've only got 1 more wave to go. 74% on the enrage at the moment, which isn't too bad, but it is very surprising how quickly they can ramp through that enraged in the later stages of this raid when there's that many units. So we do want to try and kill people. I take the risk here and call in Cam because I would rather kill the units. He actually didn't kill a unit for once. That's impressive. I'd rather kill the units than let them take additional turns. Again, always using that Shatterpoint turn meter swap ability with Mace to call in Cam so he can kill units. Mass assists with Kelleran Beck always does the trick as well. 78% to enrage at the moment. Let's keep going. They get to 82. I'm feeling quite confident at this point. You know, 82% before enrage is quite healthy when there's only, you know, four or so enemies left on the enemy team. Should be absolutely fine. 1 tap there from Cam and do the big hit, clearing out. So 83% at the Relic 5 tier, going through into the final wave. So enrage meter will completely stop. You are on the home stretch. If you get to this point and it's not enrage, and you've got your full team, you should be absolutely fine. Get rid of the droidicas first, and then systematically take out the enemy 1 at a time. Now they do have the bonus turn modifier, so it's going to be a little bit annoying, but you should be okay all in all. Big hits from Grandmaster Yoda over there, taking out that droidica. And just a couple of minutes later, we are wrapping up in this wave for max points with everybody still alive. Good team to be running. Obviously, this is only the Relic 5 tier, so it's a little bit lower. I imagine it still works at Relic 7. I'll be able to test that next week, and I'll report back if it still works. Hopefully it does. Hopefully it does. But more importantly, I do hope that this Jedi split is useful to you guys at home. If it is, please do let me know in the comments section down below. If you've got better splits for me, let me know as well. I've only got limited testing right now, so we're all trying to learn the raid together. Hit that like button while you're there, and a huge shout out to my wonderful patrons. You guys are absolutely awesome. I will see you all in the very next video. Peace out, and may the Force be with you.